call the October 6th monthly Board of Education meeting to order. Ms. Meeker, will you take the roll, please?
Ms. Boucher.
Here.
Ms. Campbell. Here. Ms. Hastings.
Here.
Ms. Higgins.
Here.
Mr. Richards.
Here.
Ms. Robinson.
Here.
Ms. Sadowski.
Here.
Ms. Walsh.
Here.
And I am here at 9. We have a quorum.
Our next item is approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Robinson. Is there a second? Second. Any discussions, additions, deletions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is approval of the consent agenda, which contains the minutes of the building committee meeting of August 7th, the city and community meeting of August 18th, the monthly meeting of September 8th, the building committee of September 10th, the instructional committee of September 15th, special board meeting of September 15th, communication and policy of September 17th, executive committee of September 22nd, finance committee of September 22nd, city and community of September 29th, and the board work session of September 29th. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Robinson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms.
Hastings.
Is there discussion?
Yes.
Mr. Richards?
I would like to make a change with regards to the building committee minutes of September 10th, 2025 on page 22 of your board book. I would clarify that I am not the chair of the building committee, so that should, while I was there, the chair should be Ms. Walsh. And in addition, I would add that for administration, Principal Jay Richard was there as well.
Is there a second to that amendment?
Seconded.
Second by Ms. Robinson. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Any other amendments to the minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor of the minutes as amended, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. I see our students aren't here yet. Do we expect them?
What's that? Yeah, no, I would
All right, well,
assume-
we'll come back to them when they get here. So with that, we'll start with the superintendent report.
All right, so first, we have our annual report, which is now available both in print and online on our district website. Highlights some key initiatives across the district in each individual schools, some celebrations, as well as highlighting some of our district's strategic plan goals and work towards them. This will be made available throughout the city, in the library, the city office, as well as our community center, and distributed at the schools in hard copies. Any questions in regard to the annual report? And then next, just in robotics grants for RMS and ADS came in. Some positive news is both schools were awarded close to $11,000 at Runlet, which they'll use to begin starting their robotics program. And at Abbott Downing, a little over $11,000, which they're hoping to establish a elementary school drone program, and having other elementary schools in the area participate in it as well.
Do we need to vote on accepting these grants?
No vote needed.
Okay, thank you.
And then my number 3 in the superintendent's report is transportation update. So a couple of things we have in regards to transportation. We still continue to have Gary Ford assisting with some day-to-day operations up at the conf. And in addition to that, we've begun to look at some of the applications coming in, and we'll begin to reconvene a committee to look at applications and potentials to look for a permanent replacement. You have anything to add to that one?
No, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it at the moment.
So I will say bus routes and timing have improved. In fact, Mr. Richard shared with me today there was no late bus at RMS, that he stood there waiting and nobody arrived because there was no bus that was arriving late. So, so again, transportation continues to improve. I'm going to turn it over to Matt around the facilities update because we have some information on the comp.
So I'll start with the ceiling repair up at Concord Auditorium. About 2 weeks ago, we had a small, about a 5-inch piece of plaster from the ceiling come down. So out of caution, we roped off the area. We got a lift up there. We brought a contractor in. And what I'm planning to do is repair a section of the building that we need to get after and look at. While we're up there, I'm also gonna do an evaluation on the entire ceiling, and depending on the condition of it, which we suspect is fine, but depending on that, we would look at bringing to the Capital Facilities Committee through our budget process, look at that. I'll get some costs on what that would cost for a capital project. So right now, it's safe. We anticipate, it's closed off, but we anticipate about a 2.5 to 3 week process to get it fixed. We have to put scaffolding up, an independent contractor doing that, and then we'll do the demo of the ceiling that looks questionable, which is just in the corner. If you sit in the auditorium, it's your farthest right-hand corner above one of the emergency exits. So we're underway with that project, and I'll give you more updates. So, does anyone have any questions on that before I get to the comp?
My question was just, does it impair the use of the auditorium?
Just for the time to take to repair it.
So we will likely not be able to have the public hearing on the middle school at that. Bridget and Superintendent were working on identifying another location that we could live stream. We can't live stream from the middle school. So did we finalize that?
And we did finalize that. It would be held at Abbott Downing School where we can live stream from there.
So
No,
next.
the 23rd. The 23rd, the public hearing. The informational session is at Rutland and will be videotaped.
So next is just a quick update of the comp and the electric buses. We have started that about 2 weeks ago, the infrastructure upgrades, running 2 5-inch conduit lines, roughly 500 feet from one of the transformers that feeds the comp building to a new location where we're gonna put the electric buses. That process is about 2 weeks away from completion. Things that remain are running the wire, so it's a heavy-duty job bringing it from one end of the new location back to the transformer of the other. And additional work that we're gonna be looking at doing after the second round of paving happens is striping for the buses. We have David Martin, who's very intent on looking at that and helping us size up how the layout would be. And we're also gonna add a fence with a gate in it for the sign yard for the city, so we're moving ahead. It looks,
Have we made any progress with the city about getting the salt pile further away from our buses?
I think one of the improvements is the pavement that we talked about. So instead of the salt pile, before it gets mixed, sitting on the dirt and kind of coming up and rotting out the underneath of the buses, now with pavement, it's going to be able to wash away and go to storm drain. So we're hoping that this will be a big improvement to help the longevity of the buses.
Great, thank you. Anything else from you, Matt? Anything else from you, Superintendent, before we go to finance?
Nope, that's all.
So, you'll see we have a lengthy finance discussion tonight. The goal of tonight is to identify potential reductions and adjustments to the budget to address primarily the school care shortfall, but also the shortfall in adequacy from the numbers we were given by the state in November, and the shortfall in the city's valuation, which was under the estimates that both the district and the school board used. We have a public hearing on this plan on Wednesday. We are doing it early this year because of a request from the city. But if we don't feel we have enough information, we can continue the public hearing and or delay a decision until we get more, or continue our meeting until we get more information. Although we're looking at identifying school care offsets, I would encourage us to instruct the administration to delay paying that bill until we get some additional answers from them and discuss some of the questions that I know I have and I think some others have as well. And just one final reminder, special education costs, when we discuss them, can quickly get into personally identifiable information about students. So if there's a question that you have that the staff thinks could violate a student's right to privacy, I'll ask that they let us know, and we can hold that question for a non-public after the public discussion. Okay, and with that, I'm gonna turn it over to Mr. Don.
Okay. This is the presentation from the 29th. I'll go right to the, I'll just, go through it rather quickly, just the meetings that we've had historically. Again, the 25, it's still, the auditors have not come back and said the 2.8 million you need to carry forward, that we did not hit that, so far, so good. And as I mentioned with the auditor, that is the same firm we've had for many years. We have bid that out and got one other proposal that wound up dropping out, but that company has changed multiple names because people are not going into the audit business, and acquisitions are happening and mergers are happening. So it has gone from Melanson and Heath to Melanson to Markham to CBiz in the last 5 years. But we deal with all the same people, so, all right. And our DOE 25 is filed and submitted to the state. This is just showing the breakdown of the expense and revenue and getting to the 2.8 million. So getting into the 2026, again, we posted back at the end of September for this meeting for the 8th to approve the budget. Typically, this happens at the end of September. But as President Walsh said, that the city had requested to do this earlier because of some personnel leaves that they're going to have. You took some action in June that we said you would take care of in October, so you'll see some of that. And again, you need 7 votes in the affirmative to make the adjustment. If you do not have 7 votes, I don't have tonight to tell you what that will mean, but I will have for Wednesday what that would mean, okay? I can give you a rough estimate of what I think is gonna happen. But anyway,
But not to be oblique, what would happen is certain of those expenses would automatically be would be added to the tax rate if we don't make offsetting reductions.
correct, revenues that were reported to the DRA from the state will automatically happen. The valuation will automatically happen, which will trigger other things. And then expenses that you are now incurring or those things that you did in June, well, we're anticipating that to be okay because you have electric buses coming and that impacts that. So we'd have to figure out other ways, okay? So again, as we look at student services, we're looking at out-of-district transportation, contracted services, and open invoices from 24-25, which you'll see on the slides that you're about to start seeing. On the facilities, we look at utilities, snow plowing, and contingency. You'll see a request for 2 contingencies tonight out of the trust fund, up to amount. Transportation, again, we're working on those electric buses. And then the mid-year assessment from school care. Their reduction in state adequacy of $670,000. We do have some good news because there's almost an offset to that, which you'll see tonight. Capping CTEs, districts capping how many students they do send. Tuition agreement enrollments, we do have 2 of those of parents that have, parent and a district that have chosen to come here. Compensated absences don't necessarily affect revenue, but they we reflected on your financials. And then EFAs and what that means. Just stuff that we see impacting. We do have some more information on that, but we won't get into that tonight. And then obviously the city valuation, which came in $473,000 less. The assessment is like $4,790,000. It came in $4,789,000. So that results in an amount you would need to mitigate it. Now, what we're about to show you is what those impacts were and what we are proposing to do to mitigate it. We believe we've been able to mitigate all of that through a combination of things. It's not easy, but it does set some things up, okay? And again, this is because of the thought you did during COVID by putting money away and having those trust funds. That helps. plus the work that was done on the special ed department trying to get everything it could for the state revenue for the special education aid. So we have three things that hit us, not necessarily in this order. You had the school care assessment of 1,996,000. That was the first time that was done in school care's history, 30-year history. State adequacy came in 670,000 less. The city valuation, that equivalent of that being down based on what was projected and historically, which we put in front of you, means you need another 700,000 just to offset that differential.
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
Yeah, right? Like,
So
one
it just
more
means the growth
thing.
wasn't there. So I know it's hard to believe. So that, between that expense and that revenue, it's about $3.3 million. Note here, there'll be a discussion later on about special education costs, which we do not touch here, okay? So we're gonna try to take it over 5 slides. First thing is, this is the budget that you passed at a high level in March. 11.4 million between the revenue we anticipate from all the lines, plus carrying over 2.8 from last year, which is FY '25, which we told you unaudited at the moment, but they're not telling us it's not 2.8, so far so good. That gives you an $11.4 million budget. So then we go into the next piece, which this was the stuff that was done in June, and 2 recent changes that we made in the last week based on what we've had to experience at the high school and what we're experiencing up at the conf. So the 563,000 is one time, there's no tax impact, that we're asking to come from the school building maintenance fund, as you can see on that slide there. So they tie out, okay? And that is to take care of the electric bus infrastructure, which you voted for in June, the chargers, which remember there was insurance proceeds that you put away, we're taking back out. And then we're asking for a $75,000 contingency for up at the conf. We don't think we're gonna need it, but just in case, considering what we're running into up there, the amount of ledge and the way they've encased the conduit up there. And then we put in a $50,000 request for the high school auditorium with the ceiling. We'll see where that goes. So we're just doing that as a precaution. Again, it's an up to number, no tax impact on that. And then, as I mentioned, with the special education trust fund this year, about mid-August, we shut down all the POs. We've only carried, and this is the smallest we've carried in years, $95,000 with open purchase orders from the prior year. Special ed had some people out, they've had to change over, so it's some invoices that came in after the fact, that we had already undid those POs, and once we close it, we're done, you can't do anything. So they're starting to hit this year. And right now, we were requesting, again, because it's a one-time, it's to take care of old liabilities, of up to $150,000, okay? Right now, I think it's at 112, but I'm only doing 150 because I don't want any more surprises. All right, and then, as you can see, there's the offset down there. So far, your appropriation's increasing, but you have revenue to offset it, okay? So that's the third set. Now we go into the fourth set, which is state adequacy shortfall, okay? So, notice the top is all fine. It's the bottom now that we see. So we had a shortfall of the 670,983, but on a good news, we are getting an additional $641,644 in special education aid that we didn't anticipate. We budget that usually conservatively because we don't know what the claims are. They paid 90% or more. Typically, we're in the 60s. So this year was a good year. And with the state now with that new law that they can't pay 80, we'll see how they do with less than 80. We'll see how they do. So that almost mitigates the shortfall in the state adequacy. All right, so we're short 29,000. So now if I go to slide 5, this is where we've started to get into things, reducing open positions, professional services, supplies, equipment, furniture, that's what that line be. We're proposing a reduction of $451,803 there. And then we're proposing, if you see that's number 5 down below. So far, I'm just building. If you see each slide, it's just building on it. Additional revenue of $277,535. And that is made up of additional 20 CRTC kids, 2 more Deerfield kids, an out-of-district tuition agreement that of those 2 I mentioned, one we didn't anticipate that we'll have. And then there is some increase in special differential sped aid. So that totals 277, 534, 535. Okay? And then we go into number 6, which is the healthcare assessment. Now, what our initial plan right now is, as President Wall said, she's not looking to pay that, neither are we, right away. We do have a proposal for you to consider on the 8th, but a proposed motion to direct us to provide that flexibility. You'll see that. But this will take the $1 million out of the year's health risk reserve. Remember, you're already having $1 million come in. Now, if we put a freeze on the budget and tighten things up, can we get to the end of the year? Because right now, in the ins and outs on open positions, there's $1 million in the healthcare line. And if I have $1 million in revenue coming in, I would have you encumber that. There's the first $1 million, there's the second $1 million. Again, those trust funds are gonna save you, okay? And a lot of that money stems back from when you were self-funded 15 years ago. But during COVID, when you did have extra money, we did put money away. And that's helping you now,
Ms. Campbell?
okay?
The 641 for the special education aid, the extra, are we sure, like, that's definite? It's
Yeah,
gonna
we
be
called
on-
the Department of Revenue and made sure,
Okay.
because that's, a lot of times when we get ready to reconcile this,
Yeah.
we start making, matter of fact,
So there's no chance
I have
of
the
it being
handout.
pulled
No,
back
no,
or-
it's on the list
Okay.
that they sent out publicly,
Thank
what
you.
our amount is. So, yeah. No, we verified the numbers.
Perfect.
Now we just gotta retro it into all the state forms and everything. So
Mm-hmm.
that becomes the next part, as long as you're comfortable with it. So as you can see, we're different right now by $699,999 or $700,000. That's the value, that's the valuation part we need. That's why there's more revenue than expenses. 'Cause you don't expense the valuation. That brings you to the tax rate that you approved in March.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Ms.
I know it may sound easy,
It's
but it's
No.
not.
No.
I don't think Mr. Dunn has slept in the past week.
I got 2 more nights of
He
that.
loves it, it's fine.
But I will say this, as I've cautioned before, I worry about the operating. I don't worry about your debt service. Because once you lock in, it goes down.
Right, right.
These things don't.
So, and we may be getting this afterwards, so just tell me
Sure.
if I'll hold my horses if that's the case, but the reduction in open positions, professional services, supplies and equipment, I just wanna make sure that we cover that as in-depth as possible this evening, just to put any folks' minds at ease that may be listening or
Yeah,
staff.
so, yeah, so I think certain ones yes.
Okay,
I
and it's
can-
not you right now, but just before then. so
Yeah,
it'd be good to know.
I have the list, I just want, yeah,
But
okay?
I think things we wanna make sure is that we're not dramatically increasing class sizes. We're not denying a child who is entitled under an IEP, an educational assistant or a nurse or any other support that they
course.
No.
need.
Yep.
And that we're not doing anything that would impact student safety.
Nope.
No.
Thank you.
And we're not doing anything in violation of the collective bargaining agreement.
Nope.
These are open positions that we cannot fill, well, open positions there and then some other things, but if there's any doubt, we should go into non-public and then we can get clarity, because the minutes will reflect, okay?
Thank you.
So, that is the 6 steps to getting where we need to be.
Do you have a sheet that would show the balances of the trust funds after?
I do not, I did not do that, yet.
Could we please
but I-
have it for Wednesday?
Yeah,
and actually
absolutely.
distribute it to board members before Wednesday?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that this sounded conceptually like it was gonna be. I can initially tell you this, you'll probably be down to about $1.1 million in your school building maintenance fund, which is the first one. Because we're gonna take 5 something out of there. The health risk reserve will be down to $155,000.
Oh,
Okay?
we need it though.
And then the special ed trust fund will be a little over 900. That'll be year 3. Assuming all these transactions happen for this year.
Ms. Meeker?
So I will give you that.
I mean, I assume you've accounted for this, but my understanding is that by having robust trust funds, that it's better for us when it comes time to bond. to,
Yes,
like,
it does.
So are we in a red zone after these choices get made for future bonding for credit rate?
You would be back to where you were pre-COVID. Because when COVID happened, you put away, you were able to build up healthy reserves, and we always felt it was good to let that out. Where the concern is becoming now is we had hoped coming out of COVID, we use a little bit to graduate down, we give some back, and some of this stuff would start to get control. And what you'll hear tonight, it's just not. That's the
Special
problem.
education.
Absolutely. That's the problem.
And when we talk about the state paying more than we anticipated, that's great. But we should also just, again, remind that the state aid, they're supposed to pay 100% of all costs over 2.5 times the average student cost. So they came in at 90%, which is better than they ever have, but they're only paying on the biggest portion, like the most expensive student needs.
Yeah.
And they're not paying, other than like the $500 adequacy allocation.
Yeah.
So, I just think it's always important to, yay for the money, but, I think students, to get an adequate education, they're not covering the cost of that for special education or any other students, so.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you said as much, Pam, and I think it's important to put our experience into perspective with our surrounding communities. We really are at a turning point for public education in New Hampshire, where we have schools making really difficult choices for their students, and because we have had the foresight of our predecessors on this board, it has spared us a lot of heartache and a lot of really hard decisions. So I hope that once we get to a better place, may it come quickly, that we can start to rebuild that infrastructure for ourselves and maintain that as a value of this board, no matter who sits on it.
Thank you. Anyone have any other questions? I do want to give people the opportunity to talk about any questions they have about the school care assessment or approach to it, or questions that they would like to see the district ask school care. Ms. Meeker?
Yeah, I think it might be helpful to just give a quick overview of what it looks like not to pay upfront and what kind of questions that we're hoping to ask. Do we think that this is negotiable? Do we think a payment plan is possible? For anybody that didn't watch the presentation the other night, I mean, they were pretty serious about this need. And while it feels like it's out of left field, it sounds like they need the money. So I just want to make sure that we are doing our due diligence in, saving as much as we can, while also not accruing interest, because I believe they said that we would start to accrue interest if we didn't pay
Correct.
upfront. So all those questions.
Yeah, so, what they had given us, was that we have till December 31st to be, interest-free. Then January, it starts accruing at 0.5% a month. For us, 6 months on $2 million is $24,000. So it is much cheaper for us to hold on to that money than to pay the money. So, to your point. Right. It's about 2.45% is what we're earning where we're at now. It just dropped from 2.65 because of the basis points that just the Fed's reduced. So what you would pay in interest over those 6 months to them would be about $5,000. So when you look at 24,000 versus 5, you're earning it back. But we just have to look at our fiduciary and contractual obligations. As they said, when you get to May 1st, I believe it was. May 1st is when Cigna would stop paying claims. And then you get to July 15th, they would drop you. So that gives you a estimated timeline there. I think the most concerning piece that was said that night is that they don't have a line of credit established yet.
Yeah.
And if they run out of claims in April, what does that mean?
And I certainly
That's the
don't
balance.
want to see them collapse while we're,
Right.
some of my questions, they chose to do an assessment rather than a rate increase. These premium holidays that they have given districts over the years, those benefits are shared with employees through our cost-sharing arrangements. The assessment is not. So that is a question that I have, that I think that they have to give us a better explanation of why they didn't look at that. They're talking about building up to where they were, which they ran out of, so I have concerns about that and wonder if, the Secretary of State has pushed these risk pools to go lower and lower. They're engaging in an enforcement action against Health Trust because they're trying to push them to lower their reserves. And so I want a better understanding of what their actuaries are saying, and if others agree with their actuaries that they're actually building up sufficient reserves. They also claimed here that the new members wouldn't be participating in these reserves, and that's why they wouldn't be paying into building these reserves, and I found that really hard to understand and believe, so I would like to know more about what kind of financial arrangement they would set up so that, they're at zero for reserves, but presumably a district that comes in now would still benefit from these reserves, and so unless they're setting up a whole 2 reserve systems, and I'd like to know more about that. So those are like some of my questions off the top of my head that I've been
Sounds like we
thinking
have
out
some
at
time.
3 o'clock
Yeah.
in the morning.
Yeah, that's real.
As I was on the phone and I couldn't see the interactions between people, I was just hearing things, and at one point, what stood out to me was the cuts that they seemed to be making to help offset this seemed very minimal. And I'd like to know more about what are they doing internally to help offset this for their clients.
Ms. Sadowski?
I think one of my central questions revolves around the kind of communication that we can expect moving forward. I mean, how are they going to communicate when they secure the line of credit? How are we going to know? I thought, Pam, you pressed really well on like, why hadn't we heard about this? I mean, if we weren't at the annual meeting in November and now we're
And
hearing.
they're sort of like, oh, we have public meetings, but I don't think any of us got a notice that there was a public meeting on a $30 million shortfall.
Certainly not to the degree of the kind of shortfall we're looking at.
So,
So what
on a
what steps are
Sunday
they
night.
taking? I was particularly concerned to hear that they were contemplating folding.
Yeah.
And so were they to pursue that option, what does communication look like?
My question goes back to Pam's first question in terms of rate increase versus
Assessment.
assessment. And based on how they determine that, are we legally required do we have to pay it legally?
Since it's a legal question, I won't get into that in public session.
I understand.
we can just,
Yeah.
we,
just feel like the
we
state
have
of the-
asked that question, right, we'll pay you 60%.
We feel like we'll do this. Talk to the state.
They have asked that question, and we can discuss it in non-public at the end of tonight's meeting. Other comments, questions that you would like to see get
I'm just
answers?
curious, I guess this is more for the broader board. At what point do we have the conversations? And I get a lot of it will have to be non-public, but do we stick with them after this?
Mr. Dunn has been looking at this.
Okay, I figured.
Do you want to?
Not in
All
public
right, we will
session,
save
because
that
there's
for-
contractual
that is a
obligations. to
contractual
impact.
issue, we will save that for
Yeah.
non-public.
Thank you.
Did you have another question?
I did, do you have?
Go ahead.
My other question though is just some background for the public of what, because some of this I learned too, is that what have we done in the past with relation to healthcare?
Mhm.
Right, so people, there's a lot going on online
Sure.
about what we should be doing, or
Oh.
it's important to know some of that history.
Yeah. So in 2011, up until then, I was still on the board. And I remember coming on the board in '09 and seeing we were almost $1 million a month. Blew my mind, considering I was coming from an employer who oversaw operations that had 150 employees. But you were over $1 million, $1.2 million a month, and that just floored me. So I really thought we needed to look at that. So that was my initiative as a school board member with working with staff, and we had a great experience. We brought on IPG, which is now part of Barslow, and we saw.
And that's our healthcare consultant.
That's our healthcare consultant, Christy Karpowicz, who was here. That's who she represents. She's been with us
Yeah.
the whole time, and have been really instrumental in helping us find this path forward. We were self-funded. We had People that have been around a while, HMO, PPO, JW.
I had JW.
There you go.
Insurance ever.
That plan today would probably be 60, 70,000. I mean, it's like, you go anywhere. And we were increasing, staff contributions, trying to get there. That wasn't enough. We started to hit where we were hitting high claimants, and I call them piano keys. They were falling right below the stop loss gap, and we were gonna have to start eating that. And that's what that health risk reserve was for. So what we did with Health Trust is we moved from self-funded to fully funded for 1 year. Then we had all the bargaining units agree that we would bid it out and try to find a new provider. Cigna became that versus Anthem, which was Health Trust. Cigna was school care. Based on the network and everything, and we convinced everybody to jump over and convert, and that was the first generation of what they called the Yellow Plan, which they just came out with Yellow 2.0 this past year. So you see how long things take to change.
Indeed.
But we got everybody migrated there. We've implemented HSA. There is a district, I am told, that is smaller than us, that is paying a bigger number than us because they are not on,
So
they are on
sad.
the plan. So, that's what I was told. I don't know who it is. Doesn't matter to me. But we have been very proactive. And I think I told you with the budget, this budget would be $4.5 million higher if we stayed where we were in 2012 and let it on. And believe it or not, there are municipalities and districts that have. And you've been very, very proactive in trying to mitigate this, but create a decent plan for your employees, for the staff. So,
It's contentious.
but it is we see that we get the claims every month. We see those claims. We talk about trends, have every year. But this was completely out of the.
Left field.
Through our consultant. And then annually, we sit down and Cigna produces a report. It's much more in-depth. And we go through that, what's driving the claims, because we're considered credible because we have over, what they say, 1,000 belly buttons. So they look at just us. But, do you go back to self-funded? Do you do certain things? And,
Yeah, I guess so.
Those conversations are happening, but I can talk more.
Thank you, Jack.
You're welcome.
Other questions? Ms. Meeker?
Yeah, because there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of discussions that we are going to need to have in public and non-public, I just want to state publicly, my understanding is that for our staff, nothing about their healthcare experience is changing right now. They still have, everything is as normal, can make claims, that nothing has fallen out from underneath them, they're covered, they're good to go.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
I'd add one more question to my list of questions, which is about I really haven't slept much this week, the governance structure. I've looked at it, there doesn't seem to be, it seems to be more from the employee side. It seems to be a lot of smaller districts, and whether we need to advocate for changes to that. Some of these boards, you have more weight based on your percentage of the pool and how much of the cost you pay. So maybe there needs to be more seats at the table for bigger districts who are picking up the bills. Not that this doesn't hurt small districts, it probably hurts them more because they don't have the resources that we've been able to, carefully put in place. But I think, and I don't know who that conversation is with and how we have it, but I'd like more information about how we have it and how do we have more representation from the people who are paying 80 to 95% of the bills.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if there had been more business administrators on this, there probably wouldn't have been as many surprised school districts.
Yep.
Great point.
And whether it should be regulated by the Secretary of State or the Department of Insurance is another subject.
That's a debate we can't have here.
Should be having.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if this is the right time or place to talk about this, but it sounds like part of our special ed is really, the costs are going up and up and up. What are we looking at? What are we considering? Is there anything that we can be doing to help lower those costs?
And that, I think, segues into the next part of your presentation, right, Mr. Don and Mr. Director Ferber?
I'm gonna turn to my cohorts here as to, well, let's first tell you a number. So we handed you, you had this in your board book, but I just gave you the latest and greatest.
Okay.
And if you would turn to page,
Can we put that sheet up online?
yeah, I can. I don't know what-
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
So you turn to
Gorgeous.
the page 3 of 8, top right column. I'm just waiting for this thing to,
Oh, we got you.
I don't know that page numbers.
you're gonna see a red number on the right-hand side.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
Big red number.
The big red number.
Yeah, I asked them to get everything that they know of right now in. You'll see in your board budget book, I think it was 1.9. Just spin it. So as you can, let me see if I can blow it up a little bit too. So that's the number, 2,314,881. And so that includes your extended school year from the summer. And we will be at 30 operating days tomorrow. And year-to-date actuals is 406,000 in professional services. You have encumbered 3.1. There's 643,000 in requisitions, so you're projected to pay 4.2 million, 2.3 more than we have in the budget at the moment. And those details will be, she will be able to.
The lucky
yes.
lady.
I know.
I'm wondering, can you explain to us what those professional services include?
So within the budget, I assume our professional services include
Nursing,
nursing,
behavior specialists,
our PCBAs,
RBTs.
RBTs, and.
What, can you
Please
just say what those are?
tell- yeah,
So,
don't use
I'm
them.
sorry, so any, behavior folks that we have assisting in our schools, we have BCBAs, which are behavior, consultants that work closely with our various programs in our buildings at the elementary level, middle school level, and high school level. RBTs are registered behavior technicians, who again are specially trained to work with our autism population, our EBD students, so our students who have emotional dysregulation. So those folks are in professional services. Our nursing folks, we have a number of nursing services that, again, if we go back to the story of special ed, right? Every student is a general ed student first, and then a challenge or obstacle gets in the way of a student's ability to learn and access that general ed curriculum. So they end up in a referral situation to special ed. There's 13 categories that we can look at for identification. So some of these categories could be medically fragile students. ED students are emotionally disturbed students, students with autism, and we have a range of students that fit the category of autism. OHI, other health impaired, visual students who struggle with vision, students who are SLD, so a specific learning disability that could be math or reading. So these are all possible identifiable situations that students find themselves in, right? And our job is to provide a plan for them to help mitigate the disability and help them with access to the gen ed curriculum. So in order to make that happen, we have a variety of folks that we hire outside of our district and we contract with. So we have one-to-one nurses that we contract with, or 1 to 2 nurses that, we have contracted services with, so students can come to school. We have a number of RBTs who have a different skill set than in EA, who we contract with to have to come, so that they can be part of our program and planning for students. When you think about what an SLP does, a speech and language provider, an OT, an occupational therapist, a PT, a physical therapist, our special ed teachers who provide specially designed instruction for students. So there's a myriad of folks that we have. It does take a village with us in special ed land, and these are the folks
And just
involved.
so folks understand, these services are legally required by mandated by both the federal and the state government.
That is correct.
That we are
Correct.
required to develop an IEP,
Correct.
and we are required to
Implement the
services in the IEP.
Correct. So the IEP is developed by
And
the team.
individualized education plan, so not
Yes.
using my own acronyms.
Yeah. You're right. Individual education plans are developed by a team, and then it is the job of the district to implement whatever we determine a student needs, again, to access the gen ed curriculum. It's about always that access.
Ms. Robinson and Ms. Hastings.
Lots of folks don't realize that special education services for kiddos are acquired through their local district, even if they leave that district to attend a private or a charter school. And so those services are administered either at that charter school or at the location of their resident school, but we are still legally obligated to take care of those kiddos' needs, regardless of whether they are in our schools as part of our ADM. So that is, I don't know how much of these services are being used for kiddos outside of the traditional district understanding of coming into a proper CSD building, but I'm sure that there's some balance of weight to what we're paying for kiddos who have maybe chosen to leave. So they don't show up on our average daily attendance, which is used to calculate our adequacy. So we're expending for their needs, but we aren't receiving the state aid for their participation in the classroom. So
For example,
lay it on me.
so we have under 30 students who attend charter schools that are our district. We are the district, right? They live in Concord, but they attend a variety of charter schools. Basic adequacy dollars that we get right now is $41.82, so $4,182. The special ed cost, so these students I'm talking about are just special ed. Our number's probably higher because regular ed kids can also attend, but special ed students, special ed funding is $21.42. So a total of about $6,300 is the cost we're losing on the adequacy side. So you're 100% correct. That's adequacy dollars we're not getting. Going to the charter, I believe every charter gets $5,000.
They get around $6,000 now. They had an
Okay,
increase
so
at the
what-
last biennium.
Okay,
Yeah.
so, all right. So we're not getting that. So I just did some simple math this morning. I took the 6324, times it by the less than 30 students we have. So we lost $183,000 in revenue. That's one hit. You are 100% correct. We also are obligated, because they are our students, we have to provide special ed services wherever they are in the charter schools. That will probably run us about $324,000.
Because part of it is we're paying consultants and or
We-
transporting students back and forth. We're not doing it with our own staff and the most cost effective.
Correct. Sometimes it could be our own staff, sometimes it's the staff at the charter school we're responsible for. So just in small dollars, it's about $500,000 just in charter alone. Now, there are other, so do we have control over that? Because Jack's famous words always to me is, do we have control over this? No. If a parent chooses to send their child to a charter school, that is their choice. I mean, for whatever reason, that is their choice. But there is a financial obligation for us to provide the services because they're entitled to a free, appropriate, public education. And the charter schools are public.
Public, yes.
Okay? That's one cost. Another cost is, we have homeless students. And if a child unfortunately becomes homeless in Concord and is doubled up in another city or town, the parent has the ultimate right. What's the most important thing in a parent's mind? And as you as parents send your child to school every day, you want to make sure they're safe, they feel secure, they feel loved, there's somebody there for them. So when a parent suffers some homeless and unstable living situation, the parent has a choice. I can keep my child in Concord, or if I move to Laconia, I can choose to enroll my child in Laconia. If they choose to double up in Laconia because I became homeless in Concord, I have friends that live in Laconia, they have extra space for us, we're now doubled up. The law says you have a choice. You can enroll your child in Laconia, or you can we'll bus your child back to Concord, because Concord is the stability for the child. So always thinking about the child first, there is some stability. Costs, we would cost share. So Concord and Laconia would cost share if the child came back to Concord. Costs for the homeless population, I took the low end, if we were busing someone from Concord to Concord, you know, I could live someplace, but I lost my living situation, I'm doubled up with some friends, but I'm still in Concord. That cost could be about $20,000 a school year. So that's just in-house. Let's say I took a medium, you know, maybe I'm heading to Manchester, right, just 12 miles down the road. That cost ran about, cost sharing was $44,000 for Concord and $44,000 for Manchester.
Wow.
I took a further point out, went to Hanover. Cost there would be $58,000. For us, $58,000 for Hanover. So cost adds up very fast in that particular scenario.
Could house these kids for that much.
Yeah,
Which would be great.
yeah.
And better for them.
Exactly. It's crazy.
So, I mean, I can keep going, I've got other, but I think, I'm trying to paint the picture for you.
Yeah.
And the picture that I'm trying to paint, and for the public as well, is, look, these are our kids. Regardless of their situations, we have to do what's best for them. And it comes with a cost. I mean, I joke with folks all the time. I walk into this office daily and feel like I'm not the happiest, I'm not the most popular person in the building by any stretch of the imagination. Because there must be like a little dollar sign right up over my head all the time, because that's what happens. And I'm a huge advocate, for all kids.
Yep.
For absolutely all kids, and there is a cost associated. I get it and I understand it. I can't fault a 7-year-old or a 9-year-old or an 18-year-old for the situation that they're in.
Do you, no, I'm sorry, do you know the cost of when the legislature added the year to our obligation, how much additional that is cost?
You know, I don't, we were talking about that today, because that's another cost. So, we, you know, when the legislators changed the, year of staying in school. So, the law starts at age 3, and used to be 21, then they went to 22. And the notion, it made sense, because you looked at transition for kids from 18 to 21, with some kids 22, but they never looked at the financial piece of it. So I can get that. I don't have that, Pam, but I will.
And again, I think it's not because we don't share your commitment to,
Yeah.
but
It's a cost.
the costs are largely out of our control, and made more expensive by choices the legislature makes. And I think it's important for people to understand that. Ms. Hastings and then Ms. Robinson?
Okay, thank you.
I know.
A 55-year involved in the Concord school districts, between the times that I was a student here and the times that I worked here as an educator, and now here on the board. The one constant that has risen is special education. And I just want to try to understand a little bit better what all these different jobs do. My understanding from my time teaching here was that we had autism specialists that were employees of the Concord School District. Do we still have those?
So, yes, our RBTs, some of our RBTs are Concord School District employees. Some, because they're positions we can't fill, we also contract them.
I guess that was my question, is so why are we contracting for consultants
Well,
if we have these people already here?
because we don't have enough.
So it's not consulting to help them plan for students, it's consulting to cover students. That's an important thing, I think, for us to understand as well.
So when you think of a behavior analysis, behavior consultant, they're working with our most intensive needs students. Students in our self-contained programs to better, to assist teachers, the service providers, and the EAs or RBTs in the room supporting those students. They're helping with behavior plans. They're helping with writing functional behavior assessments. They're helping with transitions. They're helping with better ways to assist students out at recess, in the lunchroom. All of those components are what they're looking at and assisting the team with to help educate a child or children in the building versus looking to have to place them out. So,
Not too distant in the past, we had staff members that did that. We did away with those and started hiring the consultants. Have we looked at bringing back full-time staff members to do those so that we don't have to pay multiple consulting agencies?
I'm not sure, because again, new person in the line here, but I mean, that is something we can look at. The issue at hand is not a lot of people out there that we can find that, I mean, we could advertise for BCBA's, absolutely, and see if we get folks that would be interested in being a school district employee versus having to contract them. The other piece that I didn't quite share, so one of the things I tried to look at is our current enrollment as of 10-1, which you have in your book, I looked at the number of special ed students. So at one time, not too far in the past, the state average was around 18%. It currently went up to 20%. We have, our total enrollment pre-K to grade 12 is 19.6% are identified special ed students in our district. Now, we have some schools that have, and our elementary schools range from anywhere from 13.6% up to 28%. So if you took the population in the school, the number of special ed kids, those are the percentages, anywhere from 13 to 28 at the elementary level. Our middle and high school levels are anywhere from 17 to 20%.
It would be great to get an analysis of the cost of a full-time equivalent employees for some of these consulting positions versus what we pay the consultant.
Yep.
We've done this several times.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
it's always good to do again, I'm sure.
yeah, I mean, it's difficult to compete with a large consultant firm that is, you know, a private entity and not publicly funded. That's very difficult for us to be able to match what they're able to allow as far as compensation and fringe is concerned. This is all coming, we shouldn't be ticky-tacky about how many bodies are in the building and what group they belong to. We're forced into this conversation about what kids' needs are because we have a broken, regressive funding system in this state. And the full responsibility for this problem lays on the shoulders of the legislature, who have zero political will to solve a problem they are very capable of solving. And so now we're stuck at the bottom rung of trying to figure this out just to meet our kids' needs, just to like bottom of the floor meet our kids' needs. So I just want to express my frustration. And I'm sure that there's a lot of folks out in the public right now who have a lot of frustration about taxation, about how your property taxes continue to rise. It's because we keep voting in the wrong people who refuse to make things work. So if you have an issue with the way we are spending money, you should talk to your local representatives.
That being said, all of our folks in Concord are actually pretty good.
They're wonderful. Our people in Concord are wonderful. But there's 424 bodies up there that could all use a little more courage.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I have.
Mr. Richards?
Yes, what people out there are going to ask is, how much flexibility do we have in what we pay each year for this? Can we say, oh, we're gonna cut back on these services, even though you say we should have them, we're gonna say we shouldn't have them? And so what is your answer to the question that they will pose on that?
So it is not a Jenny decision.
Mhm.
It is not a Jim decision. When a decision is made about a child's educational setting, it is a team decision, and there are a number of people by law that have to be at the table. A parent, a special ed teacher, a regular ed teacher, and anybody, the LEA rep, who's the, who speaks for the district in making financial decisions. So that's all of our assistant principals that we ask to be LEA reps. And then anybody else associated with that child's program. So a team, and that includes the parent, a huge component of the team, sits and makes decisions. Jenny might need an IEP because she's struggling based on testing. So we use norm testing to determine what the disability is. So let's say my IQ scores are fairly high, but my performance in reading and math are extremely low. And so we might look at Jenny and say, based on her intellectual ability, she should be performing better. There's something in the way. So if we provide her with some specially designed instruction in reading and math, will that bridge the gap or help her to access the gen ed curriculum in a way that's gonna make sense for her. And move her along the path, because again, when we start at age 3, the hope is we're looking for someone to cross the finish line with a diploma. At whatever point in their experience, they're gonna get there. So I think it's hard to pinpoint one specific thing, Jim, if I go back to your question, because we make decisions always based on the team.
And
It's
once,
not individuals.
and once the team makes that decision, we as a school district are obligated by the law that the state passed,
Correct, and the federal government.
and the federal government, of course, to do that, to provide that. And we have to do that, whether we do it with someone we hire or whether we contract that out. Thank you.
And we review that every year, because each IEP is reviewed yearly. We retest every 3 years, just to make sure we haven't missed something along the way, or the profiles change. Maybe I don't have that gap anymore 3 years later when I'm retested, and actually my math and reading scores now further match my intellectual ability. So someone says, hey, guess what? You no longer need special ed services and we're gonna discharge you. I think the biggest thing that I can talk about that's happened, our autism numbers in the state are very high. They're no different here. The numbers are high. And the mental health issues have had huge impact on students. As resilient as we want to believe kids are, they may be holding it in. And if we've created an environment that students feel safe and nurtured and loved, it comes out. And so those are other components that, you know, we're constantly looking at and supporting and trying to do the best that we can with.
Other question, Mr. Richards?
Yeah, I was gonna say, final thing, that it all comes down and that people should know, in my opinion. We're successful. We do. It makes a difference. We are successful, and we push kids not only across that line, but they're in college or in educational programs or in jobs and things afterwards. We are successful. Thank you.
100%.
That's
100%.
that's what I wanted to get across. Thank you.
Yeah.
I want to ask a question about, maybe you can't say this in a public session. So we're in a situation where we are required to deliver these services to our students. We love our students. We want to give them those services. If I were a business contracting such services, I would say, hey, they have to pay this anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and raise my rates by 15% so I can hire good people. And then the year after that, I say I'm going to raise rates again because they don't have a choice. They have to pay it. So are we in a position where we are unable to negotiate with private companies on the rates that we pay for good service? And in your opinion, I ask the slate of wise people here, do you think we are overpaying for transportation, for OT, for PT, for behavioral therapy? Like, where is our,
So we negotiate.
Yep.
With all of our contracts. Because we can shop around and say, contractor A, this, you tell me this is the rate. Well, I'm gonna shop around to contractor B, contractor C, contractor D. So Dawn is very good at shopping things around.
thank you, Dawn.
To get us the best possible rate that we can get. It actually backfired on us, but we did do that. We're in need of an SLP still, and so.
SLP is a
Speech and language, sorry, speech language pathologist. So we need a speech language pathologist at one of our elementary schools. We're still looking, but we sort of tried to negotiate and the person went someplace else. Well, okay, so be it. I mean, we'll continue to work and continue to make it happen. But we don't just settle for whatever is on the paper. We do try to negotiate with folks to say, hey, look, you know, can we talk about this or can we get this? Nursing services, I've been working on saying, look, we need updated medical plans. Medical plans are something we should ask for every year, because medical needs change constantly, right? So that's something we're working on, and we're trying to look at how do we provide nursing services, not necessarily one-to-one services. This is a huge issue, because we have more and more students that are arriving on our doorstep with some pretty fragile medical needs and complex needs. And so that's another thing that we're looking at. Could an LPN provide the same service? Could an LNA provide the same service with the support of our school nurse? So we constantly are looking at these things. Doesn't take away from the cost all the time, or minimal, because again, what I say to you is, I can't control who becomes homeless tomorrow, or who becomes homeless tonight, or who comes back to us. We have no control over that. Don't have any control over if somebody chooses to send their child to a charter school. I don't have any control if children have these medical needs, and really by law, all kids should be in school, right? Compulsory attendance, starting at age 6, they should be in school. If you're a special ed student that's been identified at age 3, 2.5, we start the process to get you in for age 3. Again, federal law. So there are places that our hands are tied, we have to do. Can we look at some different things to do? Yes, by all means. Can we get better at what we're doing? Absolutely. Can we look at different ways? Absolutely. I'm willing to do all those things.
Thank you. One thing I think we didn't touch on is that the special education system, as you said, it's when a student experiences challenges. It's really, it goes into effect when a student starts to struggle. And, you know, I would be interested in looking at, you know, the cohort of students that attend our preschool program. Do they need less support later because they've had this opportunity? What early interventions, you know, if we don't wait for a child to fail and need support, could we save more money down the road and have more successful students?
Yep.
And
Yes.
I don't know how you come up with data on that, but I would really be interested in looking at that and like see what, you know, if we can get a child in at 3 for speech language pathology, do we then are we then able to stop that service at 6 or 8 or 10 as opposed to 14 or, you know, I think those are really like are there better investments we could make even if they're not because a child has met the federal definition for an IEP that would save us money down the road?
So, great question, and I think if I were, so this is year 43 for me in education, so been around the block a few times. Maybe 10 years ago, I might have said, I believe that. The complexity of students coming in at age 3 right now are not just your typical speech and language students. The needs are far greater than just that. I think that's become a smaller percentage of what the needs are. Because remember, we get a referral, could be from early intervention, right, at age 2, 2.5. Hey, Concord, just want to let you know, little Jenny's on your radar here, coming at age 3. Or a parent self-identifies, boy, you know, Jenny's 2.5 and she hasn't uttered a single word and I can't get her to make eye contact or anything like that. So more and more of those are the types of situations, I think, coming through the pipeline all over the place. We are by no means any different than any other district facing these sort of situations right now. And I think, you know, I go back to, you made a great comment about how we fund things. So let's think about what's the big revenue in New Hampshire that we count on, right? We count on tourism as our number one set of dollars for revenue. We count on our liquor stores on 93 and 95 as another big source of revenue. I mean, it really is, right? And we do nothing else. We rely right now on gaming, right? There's our third big source of revenue. Wow.
Actually, business taxes are our
Business
biggest
taxes.
source.
Well,
Yeah.
business taxes, okay.
Nice.
I mean, those
Those are the
biggies.
things that go into the bucket of the
Yeah.
education
Yeah.
trust fund.
Yeah, those are the biggies that go into it.
Yeah.
And so, you know, when we look at all of that and how it has to get spread out,
There's just not enough.
Any other questions?
Just a quick
Yeah, Ms.
comment.
Campbell?
I just want to say it is such an honor having you at this table. And
you.
thank you. Your explanation and the way you just went over everything was exceptional. And I feel that I can go and be a better board member because of what you just went
Thank
through.
you.
So thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
And it's really warm. I don't know.
Stop her from going to Florida.
Oh, it's so warm here right now.
yeah, it's getting hotter every day.
Mr. John, Dr. Herbert, do you have anything additional?
I would just reiterate earlier what Jim was asking. Once the IEP is signed and it's agreed upon, those services, the cost of cutting anything that's agreed in an individual education program far exceeds the cost of providing the program that was decided by the team. I do not know of any situation where a school district does not provide the service per the IEP where they win. They end up owning the legal fees for the battle where the family will take them to court, and ultimately, I have yet to see a district win. And they will own compensatory services that will far outweigh the cost of the services if they just provided them in the beginning. So kudos to Concord, because we do the right thing for the students. We build these programs. They are costly, but the cost to the taxpayers in the district, if we didn't do this, would be far greater if we started being negligent with decisions around the special ed.
Also, it's ethically
And
dubious.
we are successful.
Yeah.
We are successful.
Very.
And that covers your ethical. Thank you.
Thank you.
What a time to be alive.
Mr. Dunn, do you anticipate needing a motion to have a plan to put before the public hearing on Wednesday that we would do during the votes portion?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I guess the big question is do you want to do anything to mitigate this professional services?
Do you have a plan for that?
He's got a plan for everything, but maybe not this. Do you?
Are you making a request there?
You see what that number is?
Yeah.
And I don't really have many places to go. I mean, I could wipe that trust fund out like that, you could wipe others out, I just don't think, what I had hoped, and I think we remember these conversations, I had hoped post-COVID they would be used, we'd let it a little bit out and normalize. This might be the new normal, unfortunately.
Yep.
It is.
So, I think you have to think about whether you wanna,
Adjust the tax rate to pay for special education.
that's correct.
Ms. Sadowski and then Ms. Hastings.
Jack, I just had a question about the year-to-date actual and the way you calculate the projected. Is that, can you just walk me through how you do that?
Yeah, yeah.
Thanks.
So you, if we're looking at that particular line, I'll just put it on the screen, okay?
What line are we on? This one, baby.
Professional services for
Yeah.
pupils.
Yeah.
We're looking
Yes.
at
Page 3.
year-to-date encumbrances.
So let me just, let me just change my view, sorry, trying
It's because the first quarter is extended school year, right? Is that
Yes.
partly because of
to,
it?
yeah, extended school year is included in that, once July 1 hits, that's where we're at, so I'm gonna duplicate the screen.
All right, John.
Okay, so when you see professional services, and that could be other things too, but overwhelming majority of this is student services. So budgeted 1.9, we have spent 406. They have encumbered, which means there's actual purchase orders committed to contracts for 3.181. And there is another 643,000 in requisitions that have not become purchase orders yet. So when you take all these and add them up, you get the 4.3 that's projected to be spent, which means when you subtract the budget from that total, that's your difference, or 220% of the budget sheet.
Right.
So,
Cool.
to
My
give you,
question,
Ms. Hastings or Ms.
obviously,
Meeker?
my question is, we have seen in the last couple of years that these costs continue to grow unexpectedly. How confident are we at this point that this is an actual number?
Yeah.
I am only confident for 24 hours, to be honest with you. Seriously.
Yeah.
Just
no.
today, I'm told of 2 more students that will require services. Yeah.
I,
So,
And like, if we think it's bad now, guys, we're gonna have huge cut to federal services
Yes.
coming up, and we're gonna have so many more students struggling.
Yes.
I'm concerned about what our next budget years are gonna look like.
Ms. Meeker?
I guess I'm trying to wrap my head around this. Are there proposals that you are hoping that we will discuss for the Wednesday meeting, for setting the rate on Wednesday?
yeah. So what I've given you with those 6 steps will basically increase appropriation, increase revenue, but the tax rate will be what you had approved, which with the local rate was 4.37, combined with the state's 3.96. Okay? That's where you're at with what we've done so far. I do not have anything included to take care of that.
So can we see a plan that's, I think, a combination of additional reductions, knowing that that might affect our carryover
Oh,
for
yeah.
fiscal year '27?
Yeah.
Trust funds without wiping it out, and tax rate, and, you know, because part of it is, if 4.2 million is the new normal, we might want to start easing that in, so it's not a 25% jump for next year.
I did do a 2 and a 2.5 if you added that on to the local rate.
That's a good idea.
So you're looking at $1.5 million versus $1.9 million.
Okay.
So it gets you partially there. Again, it's so in flux, and you do have the trust, and, you know, you have out-of-district tuition where there is right now money, because there's other lines, and I'll be able to put all the 1200s and 2100s together. That's the function under the 99 accounting manual for the state. But the 2.5 would be a nice little jump to try to mitigate that.
So it would be a 2.5% increase on top of the plans?
Yep.
Increase, so what would the total be?
You'd be at 93 cents or 6.67 at 2 million. 2.5 would be $1.01 at 7.24. That's just the local rate.
And how much revenue do those percentages generate?
1.5 million exactly, 1,532,698. 2.5, 1,915,872. It's 700, based on the valuation coming in now, it is $766,349 for every 1%. So that's how I just did it, times 2, times 2.5.
Okay.
And then we would make up the rest from reserves and
Reserves,
additional
and
costs.
see how things run.
Or
I
transfers.
mean, right now, we've got some of the transportation under control. We're doing our best to mitigate that.
Yeah,
so
I noticed that
it's-
line item, it's nice.
It's looking
It's a nice change.
We got work to do, but yes, it's not 1.8. It seems to have, I mean, that line was over last year, but it's definitely significantly higher where we're at right now, but, you know, we're working with the transportation.
So, any
Yeah.
questions?
Well, I think we will have an extended conversation about this on Wednesday to land where we're gonna land. So I'm glad we're gonna continue this conversation. Lots of good information for us to have. I do think that it's important that we're looking at Wednesday and we're looking, you know, we need a 5-year plan I think we need to realistically talk about trends and, you know, try to eliminate surprises, you know, just by anticipating what do we want this district to look like in 5 years? What do we, you know, so that we are serving the needs of our students and also like not, you know, if the state isn't coming to help, what are we doing?
Mhm.
You know, if the feds aren't coming to help, what are we doing?
Longevity.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I think we need to have that conversation.
I would agree,
call.
and again, those trust funds of years you put away, it's coming to help you now.
Yeah.
But there needs to be a
Right.
new 5-year look.
Exactly.
Without, because
Yeah.
the dynamics are changing, healthcare, all of it, yeah. agree.
We're in the upside down.
We'll be ready.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jack. Thank you, team.
Thank
you, Jenny.
Thank you, Jenny. Appreciate you. Yeah.
We're gonna move on to the instructional committee and the 26-27 school year calendars. Ms. Hastings and Ms. Dr. Hebert, who wants to present, I guess we have a new version.
Yes,
So-
Which one are we looking at here?
Yeah, go right ahead.
So administration brought 4 potential academic calendars for the 26-27 year to the instructional committee during our September meeting. Based on those 4 potential calendars, the instructional committee voted unanimously for version 3. But since then, there's been some changes.
And version 3 would have had school starting on the 26th.
Yes.
Labor Day next year is on the 7th, and school ending sometime between the 16th and the 22nd, pending snow days and 2 weeks of off at
Christmas.
at Christmas, winter holidays.
So, the new twist in the calendar debacle is that
Version 5.
version 5 that you also had in a packet this evening.
So, went through the previous 4 versions, and the packet has all versions, I believe, except for 5. 5 is a handout tonight. 3 and 5. The purpose of putting all the additional versions in there is a lot of discussion has happened with the, admin council over the summer around what the ideal calendar is. Conversations have happened with the Teachers Association on what the ideal calendar is. And then conversations with our regional schools who are coming to us around, thoughts on a calendar. Last Friday, I had the opportunity to meet with the CEA leadership, and during that discussion, the calendar got brought back up. During our original conversations over the 4 calendars, this version 5 was a potential discussion that didn't seem to have legs at the time. But what's happened is, looking at the start of the school year, version 3, versus the start of the school year with version 5, it's a unique start to the year, how late Labor Day falls. It's a unique close to the summer, around summer camps, childcare, all those things start coming into consideration. And the more and more people started looking at how early they were coming back, the more and more the dialogue began of, this is an earlier start than anticipated and doesn't necessarily align with the traditional closing of summer and going into the school year, and it may have some complications to it. Discussions about older students not being home for their younger, adolescents, because summer camps typically close the week before. So starting to have those sort of conversations around things that could be difficult for families to manage, difficult for our employees to manage in the district, as well as to how do we have a start to the school year that doesn't push us out to the end of June, so we have some built-in snow days. So the beginning of the school year, discussion started around those complex issues. In the end, there was a proposal that didn't make it to the instructional committee because it didn't have legs at the time, but associations came back and wanted to have more dialogue about it. And that would have us having the teachers coming back on the 27th and 28th for the PD days, students returning to school Monday for a 4-day school week, which is 2 days more than they have in the past before the Labor Day break. Typically, it's just 2 days back, Labor Day break. In concession, they gave up days of the December break. That would mean instead of having 2 full weeks off in December, we would go the 21st, 22nd, right up to the 20. We'd be out the 23rd, and to get back some of those days we give up in the beginning of the school year, and we would stay later to June 16th.
And potentially to June 23rd.
Yeah, potentially the June 23rd versus June
So technically a
22nd.
day later than the version 3
Yep.
on the
Oh.
instructional
And a
committee.
couple fewer days for holiday.
Fewer days for the holiday break, a closer to traditional start to the school year, giving the pushback a Labor Day, and a more typical closing of the summer break.
Families should be aware that Labor Day will be a 5-day weekend because elections are on September 8th, so there will be a professional development day.
Book your Airbnb now.
Calendar this year.
Yeah,
Is version 5, is this what the teachers have asked for?
I was about to ask that same question.
This is teacher, version 5, I wouldn't say unanimously, but the feedback from CEA leadership, this was by far, after our conversation on Friday, they did an expedited distribution of this, and by far the feedback has been that this is a preferred calendar, giving the feedback that we originally had. If we just went with the 4 that are in the packet, version 3 would be the preferred, but if version 5 is an option, they would prefer this. In talking with administrators during the summer admin council, again, a hybrid of this is for different times of the year. This is some of these components. The later start in August, indifferent on, but the December break, the 2 weeks versus the time up to it to negate having to stay in school later.
Yeah.
Those were all things that were discussed. So it is a little bit of a hybrid that would administrators and building level administrators would have weighed in on. This is right now the majority of CEA supported.
And the collective bargaining agreement, the teachers have to agree to come back to work before Labor Day.
Yeah.
So,
So will
just,
this
so
require
you have that
extra step?
information then.
Yeah, yeah, that's fine.
So because we need, we need to set our calendar early because our sending schools
Right.
need to set their calendars. Do you think we're ready for a motion?
Well, we'll do votes after the
After
public
public hearing,
Okay.
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 I would just note that if we waited until after Labor Day this year to start, the last day of school would be either the 22nd or the 29th. And as you know, the governor has been proposing that we should never be allowed to start school
Right.
to after Labor Day, so I just thought, going to June 30th, people should have that in their heads. With that, the second item from instructional, the AI presentation is in your packets, we're not gonna go over tonight, and then we have course proposals.
Oh, and this is the fun part. This is the part we like. So the instructional committee tonight is presenting to you a collection of proposals that have been developed for adoption, targeting strategic growth and academic excellence. Each recommendation is grounded in evidence, best practices, and the voices of students, faculty, and families. The high school team did recognize that the class of 2027 will be the first class required to have 4 math credits for graduation. And these courses that are being offered will offer students more opportunities to meet that need. The first program was a math around the world, grades 9 to 12. It would be an elective, semester course, half a credit, and it will give students an opportunity to practice math as it was done through the lens of different cultures and time periods with hieroglyphics, the abacus, counting rods, and etc. Students will explore some independent mathematical breakthroughs, including the discovery of zero, which sounds really cool to me, linear optimization and calculus, as well as to learn various math topics as they were explored in other parts of the world. This course requires no prerequisites, aligns with the K-12 competencies, and will use history to show the origins of math. It will be a math, but with a humanities lens and a math focus. Projected enrollment is 40 to 60 students per year. There are no expected staffing or, most importantly, financial implications currently to this course. The math department has been consulted and has approved this offering, and the instructional committee has been consulted and approved this offering as well. The second math course was an SAT math preparation course for grades 10 and 11, again an elective. Grade 10 students would have a 0.5 math credit during the spring semester, 11th grade students of 0.5 math credit in the fall semester. And this course would help students become confident and strategic test takers by developing familiarity with the SAT structures, the tools, and the pacing. Students would be guided to strengthen core mathematical concepts, including algebra, geometry, data analysis, through targeted practice and collaborative learning. The course would aim to build essential problem solving and time management skills and increase overall college readiness by aligning math instruction with standardized assessment expectations. Prerequisite would be Algebra 1. And this course is really for high school students who are preparing to take the SAT and are seeking targeted support in the mathematics section of the exam. Especially beneficial for students who have taken the PSAT, college-bound juniors and seniors aiming to improve their SAT scores, and learners who benefit from collaborative environments, and students who may be feeling overwhelmed by the standardized testing methods that we use. This SAT math prep course aligns with the district's priority number 2 goal of competency-based education by offering multiple personalized opportunities for students to become familiar with the PSAT-informed instruction. Enrollment would be 20 to 50 students. There are no expected staffing or financial implications expected with this one as well as described. The math department has been consulted and has approved this offering, and the instructional committee also had been consulted and approved the offering. And I have to just commend the high school team. The way they present their information is
awesome.
always outstanding, and I just would love to go back to high school now with these people, because they do an outstanding job. The third class is an AP Calculus BC. Now, this is way out of my league, so this would be for grades 11 and 12, an elective. It is a full-year course with a 1 credit for math. AP Calculus BC is a fast-paced, challenging course for students ready to push their mathematical thinking to the highest level. Those are things that I've heard this board ask for repeatedly, so I was really excited for this one. They will be covering topics from limits to derivatives and integrals to advanced topics like parametric, polar, and vector functions. It's like a foreign language to me. As well as the infinite series. The course will help students build strong problem-solving skills, explore real-world applications, and be ready to tackle the AP exam with confidence. This course is a strong foundation for future careers in fields such as engineering, physics, and computer science, which we now know is the computer science especially is a very highly sought after pathway for students. The course will meet the needs of a variety of students, the school, the community, and the workforce. Through this course, students will be prepared with quantitative and analytical skills in high demand, giving them competitive edge in both college admissions and the global job market. This course aligns with the district goals by promoting academic excellence and meets the diverse needs of students. AP Calculus AB is a prerequisite. We're talking about a small number of students, probably 10 to 12, but there are no expected staffing or financial implications currently. And again, both the math department and instructional committee were consulted and approved this course offering. And finally, we had AP Language and Composition, which is a grade 11 and 12 elective, full-year course for 1 credit. This course would be available to 11th and 12th grade students as a full-year English department elective. The course focuses on the development and revision of evidence-based analytic and argumentative writing, the rhetorical analysis of nonfiction, and the stylistic decisions that writers make. Sounds like a great course. This course would prepare students for college-level writing and writing in the workplace. The course will guide students to read nonfiction critically and to construct persuasive arguments. I've got 10 to 12 students on this one. No courses will be withdrawn if this new course is adopted. There are no expected staffing changes, and the cost of supplies for this course can be covered by the budgeted or financial implications that they have already asked for. The English department and the instructional committee were both consulted and approved, yes. So, great courses.
Mr. Richards?
Yes, with regards to the math courses, will there be any courses that will be eliminated? You mentioned it for the
I did.
English, I just wanted to ask about the math.
I don't believe so, Mr.
So the way it works is every year students register for courses, and we take the FTEs we have and determine how many sections of the courses. So it's not necessarily that it will result in the cancellation of a previous elective, but it may very well result in we only have to offer a couple sections of AP stats because now there's an option to go into the SAT prep or something of that nature. So it's going to result in a reduction in the sections we offer of other electives. But the
Thank you.
electives themselves will still run.
Thank you.
Yeah, the math teachers really thought that there were things that weren't being offered that kids would be interested in.
Yeah.
So that kids would sign up for this class because there's nothing else to sign up for. Or if they could sign up for that instead, so it wouldn't eliminate it, because that
Okay.
was asked.
Thank you.
I actually thought of you.
Appreciate that, I very much appreciate
A couple
that,
of times,
yeah.
All right, we will hold the votes until after the public hearing, which I am now.
Do you want us to make a motion first?
No,
Or
we'll
we'll make
do
it
the
after?
motions
Okay.
after. With that, I will open it up for,
And HSBA, since we have to vote on these.
yes, we should discuss the NHSBA, although I think the individual. So, first of all, is anyone interested and available to go to the delegate assembly?
What date is it?
October 25th.
Oh, it's right in front of me? Yeah.
AM.
I've gone every year. I'm happy to go one last time. If that's helpful to folks. Would anybody like to join me? We can have up to
I actually
two.
would like to join you, I cannot do it.
No, I understand, it's last minute, yeah. If you,
And we're just getting these things. So the situation is that we have to, you're interested in doing this, Kimball?
Oh, wait, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, is that traditionally, we reaffirm our support for the continuing resolutions unless there's one we no longer support, and we can certainly withdraw that. And then, in order for our delegates to take a position on any of the other resolutions, we have to give them instructions, because as you know, we cannot act as individuals, we can only act as a group. So, we can do this tonight. It'll be a fun ending for the meeting. The resolutions, there are resolutions raising concerns about open enrollment. There are resolutions on open enrollment. These are ones submitted by other boards. There are resolutions calling for fully funding state aid. A resolution on how the legislature includes non-germane amendments. A resolution from Raymond that my 6-second summary is probably really hard to understand, which is that all schools that I get it. All schools that receive state or federal funding shall comply with all applicable state and federal laws regarding testing, hiring, practicing, and special education inclusion. So they're saying that the charter schools and the EFA should be following the same laws that we follow. That would be nice.
they somehow get more money.
A resolution from Raymond in support of a building aid program. A resolution from Concord on school nutrition, and a resolution from Concord on federal gun-free school zone act. And a resolution from Hooksett that wouldn't apply to us because it's about school meeting forms of government on votes for bonds. And a resolution from Hooksett calling for full funding of catastrophic special education funds, as opposed to a percentage of. and from Monadnock, allowing individuals with a disability or who are caring for a household member to be counted as attending in purpose for the, in person for the purpose of the establishment of a quorum. So I assume that would apply to us. And then there's alternatives from the board. So, those are the ones that are up there, that we can discuss, in more depth. And then, unless anyone has any comments or questions, no? All right. With that, I will open the public hearing. We have 30 minutes for public testimony. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. Great. All right, personnel, winter coaches. Pages 90.
89, 90.
And there's an insert there as well.
On page 89, we have 3 new winter coaches.
I don't have that on 89.
I have it on 90.
I have that, ours looks like this. We have a little, Michelle, 90. Oh, okay, great. Yeah, winter coaches, 90.
Sorry, page 90, we have 3 new winter coaches. We have boys assistant hockey coach, alpine skiing supplemental coach, and a swim coach. They're all existing current coaches within our district, just taking on new sports.
Can I get a motion to approve winter coaches? Moved by Ms. Higgins. Is there-
Second.
Second by Ms. Robinson. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. New teacher nomination.
So we do have the slated winter coaches as well. These are
Oh,
returning
sorry.
coaches.
Okay.
Returning coaches.
Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Robinson, second by Ms. Higgins. That's a motion to approve the slate of existing coaches, because, we gotta have the motion. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Now
And
new
we do
teacher
have a new
nomination.
teacher nomination for a preschool teacher at Abbott Downing. This will be a, replacing someone who will be leaving the district this year.
I move acceptance of the new teacher nomination as presented.
Moved by Ms. Robinson, second by Ms. Higgins. Is there discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. And I will move a motion that we officially appoint Dr. Timothy Herbert as acting interim superintendent through the end of this school year.
Hold on, guys.
Moved by me, seconded by Ms. Sadowski. The title is changing because we are now in an interim period as opposed to him filling the role for Kathleen. As you know, we will be starting our search, as Ms. Guerin is reminding me every day that other schools are starting to advertise, so we're gonna get on that, hopefully get something out this month that Ms. Guerin has very nicely has started a draft for, that I will work on tomorrow. For that, but for now, we are in an interim period. So any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. I
Thank you,
will
Tim. Yeah, thanks, Tim.
take a motion on the course approvals. We can do them separately, or
Let's move them as a slate.
Yeah, I
Or
did
as
them
a
as a
slate.
slate. I move that the full board approve the new proposed courses of study at Concord High School, which have been discussed at this meeting for the 26-27 calendar school year.
Seconded.
Moved by Ms. Hastings, second by Ms. Robinson. Is there discussion? I think they're great. I think that
They're awesome.
the math SAT prep is really great because, that's an area where there are differences, real big differences in opportunities between students. So leveling that playing field, making it, dare I say, more equitable,
Yes, I'd say that now.
is a good thing for our students. And as a reminder, we require our students to take the SAT, so helping them prepare for it is also a good thing.
I also like the fact that we are finally
Adding another.
adding an AP Calc BC.
Yep.
Yes.
Jim, you can rest easy now.
Oh.
You have. We're gonna name it the Jim Richards.
AP, yes.
I am just one voice on that, but I am happy
We're
to
gonna
see
count it
that.
as your legacy of.
I totally
many
agree.
years of asking
That's a
about
great legacy.
events,
Yeah, it's a good legacy to have, man.
Yes.
Roll with it.
Yes.
So, all right.
What about the calendar? Do we want to do something?
hold on, we
Yeah,
haven't
we
voted yet.
haven't
We have
voted
to
on
vote
this yet. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Now I will take a motion on the
I
school year
move
calendar.
that the full board approve the 26-27 academic school calendar version 5 as recommended by the, well, I can't say as recommended by the instructional, it's discussed this evening.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Hastings, second by Ms. Higgins. Further discussion? All those in
Oh,
favor?
wait, I do have a quick question. So it sounds like there's an additional step that is required if we approve this calendar, that we have to go back to the union?
No,
Is
they,
that-
this
Nope,
was,
nope,
no,
nope.
No, we're good
this
to
is
go?
So
Okay.
union.
I just wanted clarification on
Yeah.
that. Thank you.
I appreciate you clarifying.
Yes,
All right, I'm ready.
that's why we have version 5. I mean, we could send it back to instructional.
Well,
No, let's not do that.
I mean, to your point about starting before Labor Day, is that a point of discussion that you wanted to bring up? Remember you said that it was an issue that they had to come back to school?
And they have agreed to that.
And they've agreed as part of their
Is what
agreement. Okay.
the report was
Perfect.
this evening.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
We love it.
Okay. It was more about why we didn't really have a choice between version 3 and version 5.
Got
They
it.
agreed to version 5.
Yes.
So that's what we must
I'm
go
happy
with.
to do what the teachers want to do.
All right.
Indeed.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Any noes? Sorry, out of order there. All right, motion passes. I think that's all our votes for this evening, right now, until we get to the
Lot.
School Boards Association. Okay.
Oh, yes.
All right. So, let's move to the School Boards Association stuff.
Yeah.
And
Just get it over with.
I'm happy to join with you. Only thing is my kid gets in the playoffs and I just gonna go to field hockey playoffs. Sorry.
Girl, you got
I'm
it.
happy to go.
Yeah,
All right,
absolutely,
so,
absolutely.
I will appoint Ms. Robinson and Ms. Campbell to go, and if there's somebody else who would
you.
like to go and substitute for Ms. Campbell,
Feel free.
I got hockey.
It's actually like kind of fun when you
kind
go
of
over and
is.
over and you like start to know people. It's pretty good.
You would really
Pretty
like.
good.
So the
Yeah, you would
Do
really
you
like
wanna
it,
go?
Sarah.
So the first motion that I think we should consider is reaffirming our support on the continuing resolutions for 2025. So if people want to take a look at that, and if anyone wants to make a motion.
So are you saying the one,
This document, continuing resolutions for
Continuing resolutions.
2025.
okay, so we can make a motion to approve the full slate?
Full slate, we've
Okay.
taken,
Which I would do, those are all solid. I move we agree with the full slate
okay.
going forward.
Continuing
Of
resolution.
continuing, this is, that's the thin packet.
Ms. Higgins moves that we reaffirm our support for the continuing resolutions for the New Hampshire School
I'll second
Boards
that.
Association. Ms. Campbell, I think, already seconded.
Ah, man.
Always be in touch.
Discussion?
I'm too slow.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Remember that we can also not have positions on certain things if we're not there yet. So the first, one is from Dresden, Hanover and Dresden, about open enrollment. They make a conclusion about open enrollment as a solution in search of a problem and creates significant financial challenges for school districts. It also has some very specific, because it is a cross-state school district, so is Dresden paying the 20% of costs that the state of New
Yeah.
Hampshire is not requiring to be paid? What grade, and then it asks a bunch of questions, like what grades do it pass? I mean, these are really good questions. I'm not quite sure what the resolution is that they're
Remain
hearing.
neutral and just have it.
Well, I like the alternative resolution that they have provided is just that opposing any open enrollment legislation that would have the effect of further undermining the reliability of projecting revenues and expenses and setting school district budgets. It's just if it's gonna adversely hurt a small community, then they would actively lobby against it.
So are you making a motion to approve the
I-
NHSBA recommendation?
Yeah.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
seconded by
I mean, we don't
Ms.
have to, I don't
Meeker.
really
Is
care.
there discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? We will support the school board's resolution, which is their recommended status for the Dover School Board resolution and the Oyster Rivers Cooperative School Board resolutions on open enrollment.
Can you repeat that, Lori?
So, looking at your list, number 14 is another open enrollment
Got it.
resolution from the Dover School Board. And number 15 is another open enrollment resolution from the Oyster River School Board. The Board of Directors is recommending the alternative resolution that we just approved for both of those. So I will move that we support the alternative resolution for all open school enrollment resolutions.
Seconded.
Seconded by Ms. Robinson. Discussion.
Definitely second that for Ms. Robinson.
Oh, sorry, because she's loud.
I'm stealing them. Yeah.
Any discussion?
Can I have one moment to just
Sure.
read over real
Could
quick?
you just
Thank
like
you.
repeat your motion?
I recommend that on resolutions 13, 14, and 15 pertaining to open enrollment, we support the School Board Association Board of Directors alternative resolution.
I see.
Yep.
And that was made by Mosh, and it was seconded by Liz Boucher.
No.
It's too late, I already
It's too
wrote
late.
the
You
initials down.
seconded it.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And all those opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Number 16 is from Chesterfield. Proposes that the state fully fund all state public education formulas before the funding of any other state obligation. The alternative suggested by the School Board Association is NHSBA proposes the state fully fund all state public schools, public school districts, and public education aid formulas before the funding of any other state obligation.
For example,
Yes.
private schools.
Yes, and I think they just cleaned it up a little. I actually think their language is a little better. So I would vote that we support I would move that we support the School Board Association alternative on resolution number 16.
Seconded.
Moved by me, second by Ms. Sadowski. Is there discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. 17 is from the Chesterfield School Board, that it imposes the inclusion of amendments to proposed bills that are not germane to the subject matter of the bill.
Some word salad right there.
Well,
Yeah.
so this is,
Single
they
subject.
added
Yeah.
something that affected schools at the last minute on another bill. The School Board Association recommends not supporting it. And I understand why Chesterfield would be frustrated that like you get this new thing, you don't have any notice. I will say that as you get to the end of the legislative session, sometimes things that are good for schools end up as non-germane amendments because you can only work with the bills that you have alive.
Yep.
And there is a process for, they're required to have a public hearing on a non-germane amendment. And
Okay, so we like it if it helps us, we don't like it if it doesn't. Well,
And
welcome to
also,
life,
like-
right?
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
And I just think that like, this is too in the weeds of the legislature's process for the school boards
I
association.
completely agree. Yeah,
I think
It's
this
like
is
out of the lane.
this is a much bigger, yes,
Yeah.
it's a much bigger issue than what, like, there are states that do single subject requirements, and we're just not that state.
Yeah.
It's fast and loose at the end of the session.
I make a motion that we do not support the
17.
submitted Chesterfield School Board Proposition 17.
I'll second.
Moved by Mr. Richards, second by Ms. Higgins. Further discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Number 18, all schools that receive state and/or federal funding shall comply with all applicable state and federal laws requiring testing, hiring practices, and special education inclusion, the Raymond School Board. The School Boards Association is not a supporting because they are concerned if the proposed resolution is adopted, that it may lend to the position or point of view that NHSBA has no objections to vouchers, provided certain criteria or conditions are placed upon schools receiving the vouchers. NHSBA does not want our firm stance opposing vouchers to be misconstrued.
I move not supporting this resolution based on the NHSBA rationale.
Is there a second? Moved by Ms. Robinson, seconded by Ms. Higgins. I think I end up there too, although I think Raymond's got a really good point.
For sure,
And,
but
you
this
know,
isn't the path.
When you think about our $500,000 charter school bill, special education bill, they should be, you know, if they're taking the money, they should be providing.
Well, they
the
can't,
service.
that's the other thing, is charter schools can't accept vouchers because they're a public
Right.
school. So it's,
Yes.
yeah, it's not, this isn't very accurate.
I think there's an intention here that I think we could probably like work on, but in terms of the way that the language is presented, I would not.
If you guys want to get friendly with the Raymond Public
Right.
School
Work
Board
with
and
them.
see what we
I'm
can
sure we
find out.
could, but I don't have the bandwidth,
All
yeah.
right, all those in, Mr. Richards.
No, I was gonna say, do we want to take no position on this would be the only thing I would say. That isn't the motion in front of us, but
Oh, I like where your head's at.
I do support their intent, although I agree with the other members of this board who have had problems with the, you know, how this ends up being worded and how it comes out.
Yeah.
So that would be my only discussion point, but we do have a motion in front of us, so.
Yep, we do. And I mean, I understand your sentiment about neutrality, but, you know, as we discuss in policy all the time, words matter. And so if we don't think that these words properly convey what we support as a district, we should not support it, rather than remain neutral.
That's an excellent point.
Yeah, both good points.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. 19, Raymond School Board, to increase mandated funding for the school building aid program to $60 million annually. It's right now 50, with a scheduled increase every 2 years based on the New England Consumer Price Index. It's now 50, but the legislature doesn't fund it, so, you know. The
500.
$1 trillion. The School Board Association opposes it because they feel like they have two other resolutions that address this topic, that don't use specific dollar numbers, instead say they should adequately fund building aid costs, which I think is broader. So I wouldn't want them to be in a position of where they had to
Stick to a number.
advocate for a lower number than maybe in
the
my
future could be.
fantasy land legislature they were in.
You and me, baby. One of these days.
Does anyone want to make a motion?
I move not supporting.
I'll second.
Moved by Ms. Robinson, moves not to support Resolution 19. Ms. Campbell seconds. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Resolutions 20 and 21, I'm going to suggest we vote on as a group. They are resolutions from the Concord School Board that we voted unanimously, I think, to support and submit in the summer. So all those, I will move, we support resolutions 20 and 21.
Second.
Yes.
Second by
Walk our
Mr.
talk.
Richards. Is there discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? We support ourselves.
And that was for 20 and 21, right?
Yes. 22, Hooksett School Board, to amend current statutes to allow a majority vote threshold for school infrastructure projects. NHSBA has an alternate resolution. I feel like we don't have a dog in this fight. So I will move that we stay neutral in this one.
I'll second that.
Moved by me, second by Ms. Higgins. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. 23 is from the Hooksett School Board, calling on the legislature to fully and consistently fund the special education fund. NHSBA is not supporting because they believe they have resolutions that already speak to this.
The catastrophic special education fund was a temporary fund that was supposed to like mitigate some changes to the funding formula.
No,
No?
the catastrophic actually predates Claremont.
Does it?
It
Oh,
does.
shit.
It,
94, right?
it predates Claremont. They put it in. It used to be called catastrophic aid.
Right, I remember that.
And then,
Years ago.
a governor I know, changed it to special education aid because, you know, I think the viewpoint of special education costs should not be considered catastrophes. They should be
Right.
considered part of what we
What we do.
do.
Regularly paid for?
God, I remember, it's all coming back to me.
But yes, so, does anyone,
I mean, I understand their rationale for not supporting, which is that they already have existing, but we were just having a discussion around
Words
specific
matter.
versus broad.
Yeah.
And right now, their existing resolution has a formula, supports reducing the threshold for determining the local share of a catastrophic aid special education placement to 2 times the state average elementary and secondary costs. Whereas the new proposed resolution, just, again, more broadly says, it needs to be fully and consistently funded.
I mean, if we look at 2:A and 2:B, that's from 94 and 98. Like, those aren't even rational estimations of how much this is gonna cost. So I don't think those are even relevant anymore, right?
I would move that we would
Support.
support this to replace old language in the current resolutions.
I'd second that.
All right, moved in second.
moved by Ms. Robinson, seconded by Ms. Meeker. Is there just, or no, reverse. Let's go reverse. Moved by
All
Ms.
good.
Meeker, seconded by Ms. Robinson.
Right.
Can I have a moment to just wait?
Discussion? Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
Are we undermining, would we be, I should raise my hand. Would we be undermining anything currently by doing this?
I mean, my concern is, you know, they're saying that the state should fund the special education fund, which is, you know, at 2.5 times the cost, when costs are over 2.5 times the average student cost. And so my concern is it locks in a little bit of like, I think that all of those costs are the cost of inadequate education and the state should be paying all of them.
Yeah.
Like not, you know, so saying they should fully fund their
Legal
underfunded
obligation.
I mean, like, this is saying fully fund the existing law.
Right.
And I think that's an important first step. The question is, like, is that where?
Is it adequate?
That's not necessarily where I am. I think, like, special education costs are legally mandated, therefore they are legally part of a adequate education, and the state should be paying, not waiting until bills are huge and then paying a percentage of those bills, but should be paying those costs. That's where I.
Would you want to present an alternative motion to actually amend the language or to propose amended language?
I don't know, can you propose amended language?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Right?
it's Robert's rules of the meeting. You do whatever you want, yeah.
Well, then I would propose a friendly amendment. To amend the motion on the table, I would propose a friendly amendment to your amendment.
How about this? I will withdraw my motion
Okay.
so that you can start
Okay,
fresh.
then I will propose that the Concord support a friendly amendment to the Hooksett School Board resolution that says the state should pay all of the costs of a special education because those are the costs of an adequate education for those students.
Yep. Okay,
And seconded by Mr. Richards.
yeah, good call.
Words matter.
Mhm.
Discussion.
Sounds good to me.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. All right, we are on the last one. Monadnock School Board. We did this so good. The first year I was on the board, we did this in like 5 hours.
We're being
my
very
God.
pragmatic right now.
So Monadnock School Board, which is allowing individuals with a disability as defined by the Americans with Disability Act, or because they're caring for a household member with such an ability, to be counted as attending in person for the purpose of the establishment of a quorum.
Is this like in a meeting or something?
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's
virtual participation.
Exactly.
I would assume from the context of the alternate resolution.
Yes, so, and this was apparently a bill last year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That Senate Bill 259 proposed to amend RSA 91A by adding the language that we just discussed.
Mm-hmm.
It had bipartisan support. It was supported by the Disabilities Rights Center and the New Hampshire Municipal Association.
So this is any sort of political meeting or?
I would assume it would be a
Or
member of our board.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Like just a
Yeah.
board meeting?
Because
We do that
they're
anyway.
talking about a quorum.
Right.
I mean, they're
I
talking
mean,
about
when we need to have
amending
seven people for a
91A.
vote, and people are away, we.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Zoom them in.
It doesn't mean it's gonna happen.
So it looks like there's an alternate resolution from the School Boards Association that is similar.
It makes a lot more sense too.
Mm-hmm.
That, and is cleaner.
Yep.
And then they also, they have a, and then they just have their sort of non-discrimination, so.
Mm-hmm.
So they're trying to combine two existing resolutions on this topic into a single resolution.
I motion that we support the amended resolution VU.
You want the supported alternative resolution?
Yeah,
Mhm.
the amended resolution.
Supported
The
by
first
the.
one.
I
Supported by
think they're
NHSBA.
both, I think it's a combination.
You
Yeah,
don't
it's-
think we can do them separately?
We can do it as a, we can support their alternative resolutions as a group if you'd like to make that motion.
Or can we support anything that has equity and inclusion in it?
That's what I was just thinking. I would prefer we move V first.
Oh, because it was
Possible.
extended, okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep, we sure can.
So we can do
Thank you, New
the
Hampshire
colon
Assembly.
U first.
I'll second her.
Wait,
So Ms. Sadowski moves that we support alternative resolution V colon U. And Ms. Higgins seconds. Is there discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Would anyone like to move support for resolution V? Oh, that's not, it's now, it's 6:F. Is there-
There we go.
The Roman
6F.
numerals, the
Yeah.
letters, the numbers.
Totally understood.
There's no other Roman numerals in the entire document.
That's true. That's true.
Does anyone want to make a motion on that?
I just want to read it again. Governance. I mean, that seems pretty standard.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, I'm fine with supporting that.
Would you
I'll
like-
move supporting that.
Ms. Robinson moves supporting resolution 6:F, seconded by Ms. Higgins. Is there discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. All right.
Y'all, we did it. And now I have my marching orders for the
There is a
25th.
rescission that
This
they
was
are
much
asking
quicker
for
than
as well.
last
On
year.
the final
see that.
page.
Where is that?
They want it on page 21, they want to
5:5.
rescind 5:5, or yeah.
Oh, I missed that.
It's probably, it's like a packet of changes that they would like, and they've offered them as separate resolutions. So-
Okay, so it looks like it goes with 5
Yeah,
colon
like
U.
that.
So
So
would
we're all
it,
set.
so would you vote to, so,
I'll move to support the rescission of.
And I will
5:5.
second the rescission.
moved by Ms. Meeker, second by Ms.
Robinson, all good.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. All right, calendar of monthly enrollment reports.
Okay.
Great. Yes, I am. So looking at, as we get into October, our student population that has been fluctuating starts to settle right in. So going through on page 93 in my packet, we have the elementary enrollment numbers to date as of October. As you can see, in some cases, like Abbott Downey, we're up 13, but overall, and we're up at Millbrook as well, plus 15, but overall, when compared to last June, we are down 3 students in enrollment.
I am concerned about the Abbott Downing and Millbrook numbers in Abbott Downing 4th grade and Millbrook 1st grade. They are at the, the very, very top of those numbers?
Those are regular conversations with the principals and building administrators, you know, how are we supporting them? What do we do if others were to move in?
Right, what is the plan?
So we look at the use of, instructional supports we have existing in the building, how we can use them differently, but we also look at using contingency funds to fund additional general ed instructional supports.
Okay, because we're talking about not hiring positions that
Yep.
we have open, but, those numbers they're critical, and
Agreed, and
Gotta keep
the
a close
size
eye
and,
on
and the
Especially
student
those
to
grades.
staff ratio, such an important thing at the early education.
absolutely. Thank you for being on top of that.
Yep.
Mr. Root?
Yes, I just wanted to ask a question with regards to, the preschool numbers for Beaver Meadow have gone from August to now from 38 to 51. That seems like a very significant increase, and how are we handling that increase of students?
Just hired a new
We knew-
preschool
we knew this
teacher.
was coming.
We did. That was at Abbott Downing.
I mean, two things too, is it gets a little misleading because we have AM, PM as well.
Oh, okay.
So it gets a little misleading, it's not necessarily all at once, but,
Well, and also keep in mind, it's as kids age in.
Oh, yeah.
So when they hit that age 3, they're aging into the
Okay.
preschool program. So those numbers will fluctuate all the time as kids turn 3 and qualify for the program.
But facility-wise and personnel-wise, we are able to handle that. Thank you.
Calendar of meetings.
I refuse.
Tomorrow night, we have the informational session at the middle school. Tours of the school are available beginning at 5 for people who would like to attend. Wednesday is the public hearing on the budget. Next week, on the 15th, is negotiations. The 20th is executive committee at 5 and instructional at 5:30. 22nd is communications and policy at 5:30, public hearing at Abbott Downing on the middle school project at 6 p.m. And we're gonna test the technology to make sure they really
Yes,
can
we are.
live stream, right?
yes, we are.
And can we encourage them to do captions?
Live stream where?
They don't always do
CCTV.
Live
captions,
stream
but I
to
think they can,
Concord TV.
TV, you know, from Abbott Downing.
Oh, right.
because the high school's not
High
available.
school's not available.
Um,
And this is too small.
In November, we have the board meeting on the 3rd, election day, and no school on the 4th. On the 5th, please be available for a call from Bridget for the canvas of votes. 5:30, Capitol Facilities on the 5th, 6 p.m. Building Committee at 5:30.
Not 6 PM, on the 6th.
On the 6th at 5:30, the building committee. The 12th, the finance committee at 5, the instructional committee at 5:30, executive committee on the 17th at 5, followed by city and community relations at 5:30. I think this might be where we get a presentation from the city.
Yes,
Okay.
that's the plan.
Oh, okay.
On
That's
most-
great.
Memorial Field, communications and policy at 5:30 on the 19th. And then the 22nd, or the 26th, the 28th is Thanksgiving break.
Is there any way we could swap finance and instructional on the 12th? I'm just afraid of not being able to get here on time for 5.
Brenda, are you available?
That's the 12th.
Where would it go?
November?
And I'll just, so finance will start at
instructional would be at
5:30. Yeah.
Well, how long is your
How long?
agenda? Because usually I think it's the finance,
Ah.
instructional is long. But we
Okay.
could start instructional later. We
Okay.
could do,
Like
well, we could
5:30
start
and 6.
finance, we could start instructional at 5 and start finance.
I could do that.
6:30 or 6, depending on the.
Does that
work?
Does that
I don't
work?
want to keep you here.
Do we have people that are on both
But-
of these?
Let me see if I could
big
just
night.
take half a day at work, so I don't have to worry about being stuck, so I'll let you guys know
Okay,
by
let us
next
know.
week. And we'll do
Let
that.
us know before the executive committee meeting, because we can make adjustments.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Okay.
All right, all right.
Do we have non-public tonight?
Well, I guess that's a question. There was a couple of things that
Yeah.
came up that I think were non-public questions that folks had. And I don't know if Dr. Herbert has anything else.
This time, no.
Oh, you don't?
You don't? You don't want to hang on longer?
Yeah, you
I
don't
would say
wanna-
maybe some of our non-public questions could happen on Wednesday,
Yeah.
unless people have questions, burning questions now.
I just want pizza.
Are we gonna have a
Yeah.
non-public on Wednesday?
I was in bed last night at this time.
Well, then I will
Girl, me too.
suggest that we meet at 5:30 on Wednesday to have a non-public before the hearing, the public hearing, so that if that works for people, so that we don't have to stay late, you know, stay after, and I assume people will be waiting for us to vote.
Yeah.
What time is the hearing?
6.
People will be
We try and do all public meetings and public hearings at 6.
So non-public at 5:30.
Non-public at 5:30.
Is a half hour enough time?
I'll be flying in late, but that started one this time.
So, Dr. Herbert, do we have any issues with having a non-public at the Redland Middle School? Can you give us a room?
I can get us.
No, no, we're here
No,
on
no,
Wednesday.
That's right.
Oh,
Wednesday.
Tomorrow.
So never mind.
Wednesday,
We got
never
it.
mind.
It's a lot, it's busy
Tuesdays.
Got it wrong.
Yeah, this is a busy week.
Yeah,
Never mind.
I can't come tonight, I can never come on Tuesdays.
yeah.
Is there any other business? Well, we did a lot, we absorbed a lot for 2 hours and 22 minutes. I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Seconded,
Moved by
boom.
Ms. Higgins, second by Ms. Roberts.
It's our thing.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I will see you at 5:30 on Tuesday. Wednesday.
Discussion.
But I hope to see most of you tomorrow at 6 p.m.
I will be in
Sarah, I never said hi to
Montgomery.
you.